Welcome to Athar's Garage. In this video, I'll be working on the Racing GTR Step 11, or page 16 in the manual. So, let's get started. So the car is pretty much built. Page 16 doesn't really show, but tells you to install the wheels, tires, and your electronics. So, let's go ahead and do that. My ESC of choice is going to be the Hobbywing Easy Run Mini 28. So be careful when you open this up. There's a bunch of wires that come with it. There's two sensor wires, different lengths. There's also the cable that goes from your ESC to your receiver, and then this cable here is for your programming card. I already pre-mounted my tires onto my wheels, so we can install those later. I'm going to use some ceramic bearings to install those from HoustonRC, and also some gold wheel nuts. I've got my battery, my O-ring, which is part F1, and then I'm using the MXO RXC52 A3 receiver for the Noble NB4. Let's go ahead and grab that. Alright, so from some of the other builds that I've seen, I had a few different methods or ways that they installed the ESC and receiver, but I think the nicest way was actually to install this over here, the A and B wire going underneath the support, and the C wire going on the opposite side. Okay, so looks like what I would like to do is actually have the B and C wire going towards the outside of the car, like so, and then the A wire coming underneath the support here, and then routing around to the motor. I feel like that might be the best bet. And then installing the receiver below the supports and central to the chassis. Just cleaning everything with some rubbing alcohol. So for these types of receivers, you see the pins on the bottom. You want to protect those pins, so we're actually going to put 2 layers of double-sided servo tape. Because if you don't, it might wear through the first layer and it's not thick enough, and those pins might touch the metal chassis and short out, and then you don't know what you're going to destroy. So whenever you use a receiver like this that's not in a case, always use 2 strips of double-sided tape. Okay, try to install it as central to the chassis as I could. Shouldn't affect placement of the battery. Have easy access to the bind button. Has sufficient distance away from the servo saver, so it shouldn't get hit. So now I can go ahead and install our ESC. All right, so the motor wires are soldered. Now we can route our sensor cable. The sensor cable is going to go from this port here to back here. The short sensor cable that came with the speed controller is too short, so I think I'm going to use the longer one that came with it. Be careful when installing it, make sure you have the correct orientation. Seems like that's a clean enough install. I know a lot of people will add heat shrink or something to kind of make this look tidy, but I feel like that's going to add a little bit of weight up top, and so I'm just going to leave this as it is. And it doesn't look like the wires are pulling on anything. There's still allowing free movement. So now we can plug in the servo and ESC into the receiver. And I forgot to mention it while the car was out, but this is going to be channel 1. This is channel 2. So just make sure that you install the servo and ESC in the correct ports. So there we go, the electronics are installed. Now we can install our wheels and tires. All right, so I'm using 0 offset wheels from PM. These are the Delrin wheels, and then I'm using KS 2828 radial rears and KSM 538 fronts. So just that's one of those ceramic bearings. It's still going, so it'll probably keep going until the video is over, so I'm just going to stop it now. So before I end, give a close-up on my wiring. I mounted the ESC over here, mounted the B and C wires around this way. The A wire came in through the middle. My receiver is mounted in the middle, basically underneath the central section right here. I used the longer sensor cable and kind of twisted it a little bit to give it a cleaner look, and just routed it on the outside. Haven't decided which body I'm going to run just yet, so I don't have my front mount, but once I decide that, then I'll be able to mount it and run it hopefully this weekend. So that's it for the build. I'll try to do a build review video after this, and after I run it for a bit and break it in, I'll give my initial thoughts on driving and adjustments and whatnot. And if I can come up with any other videos, I'll definitely do that and post them as well. Thanks again for watching, and I'll see you all in the next one.